Yeah, we're finally back at the show notes. Punch and punch in the anime scene. Top something, punch and applause. And the only rule is there are no rules. Once again, we're voting the critical scenes to report their one-eye standpoints on how things are, how things aren't, and how they should or shouldn't be. I would say we want to go play 5 for these elements here, but let's be honest, where's the fun in that? Right, first off, we have in scene number 1 someone who's one of the big players in the UK history for years. You've heard of it, faceless launch of ships. This one actually looks like it. The driving force behind Division UK for most of the 1990s to 2000s. This guy was responsible for Lights and Destro, Gunsmith Cats, Full Metal Panic, Helsing, and so many other classics coming our way. Now he works on distribution TV shows for years gone by, but don't knock it. At my primary school, Sean and the Wheelies was required viewing on curriculum. And Danger Mouse was on the test papers. Hey! If you're in this program and no one else can help, then if you can find them, maybe you can hire Agent 404. Hugh David's here. You've been up on board, you up for this?
Yeah, I am up for this, although I still can't believe some of the things you've been warning us about, because I'm scared.
That's what we're aiming for. Now, next up, we have someone from Minor Fridges Net, the woods up the northeast, and they're up in Sunderland. Representing fandom, we have someone who's as passionate about mobile circuit he actually reverse engineers this technology and includes it in his own projects. The second any of this becomes affordable, certain organisations want to watch the hell out. A regular contributor to the blog, an atheist and a Christian, you really don't want to take them on in a religious discussion, but the chances are you're going to come off second best. When we decided we were going to do this, it was an absolute law conference to bring someone on board. Mick Wright's here. Sorry Mick, we had to do it, mate, but you up for this?
Am I up? Yeah.
Alright.
It's the morning, he's always up.
I don't think he's ever down, to be perfectly honest with you.
Put it this way, the condition I'm in, I'm wearing this for a reason, alright?
Give you ice bath. Okay, Canada's number 3 is a new edition of How to Talk About It, but don't let that fool you to think he doesn't stand a chance. Less and more of us have been paralysed with laughter at some of the stuff this guy comes out with. And the ability to improvise with the best of them means sometimes even he doesn't know what he's going to come out with next, but he couldn't give 2 tugs of a dead dog's dick. Don't ask him what's in the bottle, you really don't want to know. He's got a heart darker than the furthest reaches of space and a mind even blacker. The original product of him is here. Moley's in the house! I don't know if it was going to take so long to cook this, so it's supposed to be too fast by lunchtime. I'm going to piss in your next parliament.
I realised that was a technical slip-up, but that was worth it just to watch him suffer.
And finally, back to spend this time from the inaugural 2010 Final Talk. The voice has been a hamster, a dog, a lion, a serial killer, a demonic CEO, mobile suit pilot, Siam, power suit superhero, but now he's best known as the pony with the tash. It could only be the one, the only, Brad Swider!
You know, I can't understand a word our host is saying because I'm Canadian. Was he saying nice things or bad things? Yeah. This is going to be a long hour.
Okay, those of you who listen to the show know how it goes. It's points for punditry, points for opinion. If you're flanneling, you're going to lose points. This is a 1-pointer. This is a 2-pointer. And this is a 3. So, we'll kick straight off with question number 1, which we've called Gateway to Another World. Everyone's got to start somewhere in the anime scene, and we want to know your first experience with anime. Now, Brad, we got your first real experience back in 2010, so if you could come with your most memorable one.
Okay,
please.
If memory serves, and it's a bit foggy, last time we were right in the pub, what did I actually say last time?
It's foggy for you, what can I say?
Okay. Alright, I don't remember what I said, what my first experience was, so hopefully it'll be something different this time.
I think that's a hint.
Let's just move on and see how we go.
Okay, we go with Moley. You're on yours, please.
Consciously, I think it was Guyver, the original, you know, the manga ones that came on single. And unconsciously, it was Dragon Ball on a family holiday.
Hey! Easy. Forget it, I'm giving you one of these. Ooh, somebody brought their own sound effects!
He is his own sound effect.
Are we playing this game? Because you do realise something. Right? All he can do is control the mics, and we're all loud. So we can just, how do you feel about the current economic crisis?
Okay, we'll go with Mick next, please.
The first one I ever saw, I was 6 years old. I had no idea what it was. I couldn't distinguish it from other cartoons, but it was Laputa, Castle in the Sky.
Hey.
Some guy came around, renting videos out the back of his van. I'm pretty sure that was totally illegal. Now it wouldn't be. I
can give a point for that. You are.
Well, I had no idea it was any different from the Warner Brothers or anything else. But then when I was 12, I got into Sakura Wars.
Hey.
Of course, by that point, Pokemon had come out, so every time you were looking at anyone from any anime ever at that point in time, all you'd get over your shoulder was, they're from Pokemon! Yeah, everyone knows this, and everybody wanted to smear the walls with whoever was saying it. But for me, it will always be Laputa. It's still one of my favourite movies.
You just can't go against you, I'm sorry, that one just had to get a hallelujah. And if we go with you, finally, please.
I haven't answered yet.
Right?
Is it my turn? I can't see you guys, you're behind me.
You, to the left of you.
I didn't answer, I was asking what my answer was last time. Because you asked me to say something different, and I don't remember what happened last time. But first, can I get a clarification on the point system? I thought the warp was a bad thing, but that's actually more points than the ding, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay,
It's one.
I'm back, baby.
It's two.
Okay, because the warp, I thought that was a wah-wah. And it turns out it was a wah-wah. Okay, let's move on. So last time I probably said Akira, would that make sense? Or Akira?
That's his ring bells, yes.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for clarifying. So, but my first actual anime experience as a voice actor, I guess, was a show called Ranma 1/2. Anybody know Ranma?
Yeah.
Awesome. So I'm playing a character who turns into a duck. So for that first session, I think about 3 or 4 pages was and I'm like, I could get into this anime stuff again.
And finally, go with you there, please.
So, I have the same thing as everyone else has been saying. There's the things you knew were anime and the things you didn't. And so before I knew it was anime, it was Battle of the Planets. Because, you don't know what it is. It's just a cartoon, it's sold to you. And to this day, when I hear that theme tune, I want to punch the air. It's just beyond awesome. Anyone who hasn't seen it online, there's a burger joint in Oxford called Atomic Burger, and their entire video selling who they are and their chili challenge is using theme tunes and cartoons and all the stuff that they obviously haven't got the rights for, so it's basically an AMV. But go and have a look at Atomic Burger and you'll hear the Battle of the Planets theme applied to burgers. It's awesome. But when I moved to Switzerland as a kid, I got to be the part of that generation of people who were watching anime in French that now makes France such a huge market for anime. And I'm going to cheat here because rather than calling it by the individual anime shows, the whole thing was done as like a block, like a kids' TV block. So on one channel it was called Recréateur, and then when the people who made that moved, they got bought out by the private channel and went to the big channel. They then called it Club Dorothée after Dorothy, who was the main presenter and the lead singer, and obviously first crush for a lot of boys. And she used to present basically French versions of Goldorak, Albator, Mysterious Cities of Gold, Candy, Maison et Kyoku, and even Rambler. And so you basically got home from school and you got this stuff like force-fed into you for like 2 hours, and it was amazing. So, you know, French anime is kind of like my cheap answer, baby.
And to think we ended up with Philip Schofield and Andy Crane, who knew? Okay, question number 2. We normally the radio show, it takes a question from one of the audience, and I believe we have one. We have one from Wing Zero. Wing, are you around?
That right there is dedication.
That would be an O right there. Okay, ask the following. What he's asked you is which series would make the best anime to live action movie adaptation? Now, we don't think some absolutely horrendous ones. They've always talking about absolutely dismantling Akira. But we want to know which one you think would be the best. And if we go with Moley on that one first, please.
Avatar, that's their one.
Not ones they've done, ones they haven't done yet.
They haven't done their vendor
The
film
penis
yet.
hair.
The overfeed.
To be honest, my first initial answer was, of course, Bible Black. Because, you know, there's no way you can tuck that away. So it would be like, it would just be schoolgirls with dicks swinging around their knees. But, I don't know, actually. I actually think Mysterious Cities of Gold.
Yeah.
Although they have to cheer it up a bit. Because otherwise, it's proper slip your wrist that you've got a friend in your territory.
Yeah.
You might not city! Fucking condom!
Okay, next up we have Hugh, please.
Right, me, I'm an action movie junkie, so it's really simple. It's either got to be one of 3 possible options. It's got to be either Gunsmith Cats, Rosehip Zero, or Black Lagoon. And I'm gonna plump for Black Lagoon because hell, I want to be the guy who makes it. Okay, that one is ready to rock and roll. We rock up in Thailand where stuntmen are cheap and happy to kill themselves. We fly boats. We hire the hottest Chinese American actors we can find to slip on those shorts and fire the guns. The whole cast can speak English because guess what? They do already in the manga. It's an easy sell. You know, I'm looking forward to doing that one.
That works for me, and Mick next up, please. I think I've got an idea what this is going to be for you.
Well, it may surprise. It's actually supposed to be in pre-production already, but it's entered Duke Nukem Forever territory. It's got to be Neon Genesis Evangelion.
No.
This is such a everyone sooner or later wants this to be a live-action movie. To the point where, at least in my circle of friends, we've started to fan cast it. Like Daniel Radcliffe would make a great Shinji Ikari.
Oh, hell yeah.
At first, I thought, what's his name who played Frodo? Elijah Wood? But all he's good at is looking frightened, which is really most of what Shinji does. But then Daniel Radcliffe can actually kick some ass, and with the rebuild movies, that's starting to become a factor. And for Gendo Ikari, it would have to be Hugo Weaving. I mean, you airbrush a beard on the Agent Smith in the minute, and you've got Gendo Ikari.
No, because all I can hear is, welcome to Nerve, Mr. Underhill. I only have one character that is talking with steepled fingers, slowly, about a great threat. Arrest me, kiss. I'll give you that one, yeah.
And I travel around the Australian desert as a drag queen.
Yeah, drag queen Ikari.
When it cuts back to nervous, pop, angel, look at the angel.
Do I have those points?
Some of those have always just found it. I finally brought on this one.
Oh, that's tough. My answer was already pitched. Black Lagoon for sure, because I want to leer at Revy, and she could break me like a pocky stick. And I'd enjoy every minute. So, because that's already been said, I have to change my answer. Hamtaro for sure. You know what? That's not one movie, that's 3 easily. That's a trilogy.
Can I donate some of my points for that answer? To be fair.
Okay, that's 2 rounds in. Now, the second question always has 2 bonus points given by the person who's asked the question, but since Wing isn't even here, we're going to get you guys to vote for the best answer. First off, you can go for Hugh, please. Now, hands in the air for you. That's not too bad for Brad.
I knew this one was going to come in handy for me.
And for Mick.
That's actually more than I expected.
And finally for Moley. I think that's 2 points to Moley right there. So we've got the fridge for the scores.
So far, in the last place is Hugh with 10 points. Mick is looking back with 14. Second place is Moley with 17 points, but in the lead with that is 18 points.
Now we're going to keep cracking on as best we can. We have got quite a few questions to go through here. The next question is the crowning moment of awesome. Anyone who's reads TV tropes will know where we pretty much take most of these ideas from. But let's face it, the jaw-dropping moments, anime and manga, and what drew us all into this stuff. The set pieces, the fights, the chases, gunfights, space battles, the epic death scenes. Which one tops the lot? And if we can go with the Moley on this one, please.
I will be accused of unfairly trying to sway the judge's opinion on this one, but it's from an anime manga, I Shield 21, an American football manga. In one of the matches, the character team, the Devil Bats, are playing against the Amino Cyborgs?
The Amino Cyborgs, yeah.
And there's one guy who basically, the idea behind the Amino Cyborgs is they use science to improve their football, so they all take shitloads of steroids and work out using computers and you know the standard anime things where you go, computers don't work like that. And there's a bit where Monta, the catcher, the wide receiver, is running along the line. And there's a guy running next to him, and he's like all blocky and computerized. He goes, I learned the perfect running technique in order to beat you. No one can outrace me. And Monty just turns to him and goes, I ran across the entirety of America doing this pass route. Jumps in the air and catches the ball from behind him, and then scores a touchdown. It's just like, wow.
You weren't going to play to me all the way through this, but you did say that.
Yeah, to be fair, I will give you guys a warning that like a third of my answers are I should.
Okay, next up, Brad, please.
Okay, this is a totally selfish answer. This is for me. This is not going to win any favor with the judges. This is my epic anime moment. When me, a guy who's been working in the industry for quite a while, on Black Lagoon, actually got to drop an F-bomb.
Yeah!
Yes. So that answer is just for me. That changed my life.
Don't get out much, do
Okay, Hugh, next,
It's hard, the shackles are pretty tight.
It's kind of really that polite. Dear diary, today I said fuck. Today was a good day.
And then I'd have to say sorry to my actual journalist. That was my Canadian accent, by the way. Sorry.
Yeah.
it's a good job this is getting edited before it goes out on the podcast. Hugh, next, please.
It's not being edited by 4 kids, we're alright.
There will be no rap music, I can tell you right now.
Okay, back to the action movie junkie thing. I grew up on 70s car chase movies, you know, Burt Reynolds racing around South America and stuff like that. Car Quake with David Carradine. So for me, well, the thing that manga, and I mean manga, not anime, specifically manga does better than just about anybody else in the world, anybody else's comic books, is the way they make something feel like it's shot and edited like a movie. Okay, so we go right back to Gunsmith Cats. One of the early episodes, so see, I call it episodes in this manga. I'm reading pages and I'm calling it an episode. And there's a car chase, bad guys are herring through Chicago. They go down this alleyway. In the alleyway, there's like a space between a bunch of blocks where kids are playing with the ball. And the ball bounces, the kids hear the car, step to one side, car goes right through, and the kids are like, oh my god, right. The car goes through. They then go to pick up the ball. Girl is picking up the ball in the middle. Rally and May come charging, and they go, oh shit, there's a girl. Stamp on the brakes, swing the wheel, car starts to swing around, open the door, grab the girl who is frozen in fear with the ball, pick her up, shove her right through, across the front seat, open the other door, as the car continues to swing around, drop her out, and they swing around just right to go back out the alleyway. I want to film that somehow.
In Thailand, I'm the child stuntman. You're gonna have to reshoot that like 15 times. It'll be big streaks.
You've never seen the truck stunt at the beginning of Born to Fight, where they try to do the Matrix Reloaded scene, and the stuntman falls off, and they've got no wires, no CGI, no nothing. He falls off and he misses the bloody wheel by 2 inches.
Oh!
We'll be fine. We'll be fine.
Just for the fresh wounds. And finally, Mick on this one, please.
Mine's fairly recent and fairly predictable for those who know me. Gundam Unicorn Episode 5. The hero, Banagher, is basically trying to get back into space. And the ship he's on is trying to dock with another ship, with this big tow cable. And they're having engine trouble, so they're not going to make it. They haven't got enough room to sort of slingshot on the other. So he, in his Gundam, and 2 other suits, get behind the ship and start to push. And it's at this point you start to think, this is getting a little bit shotgun, this is getting strange. So they're still not going to make it. So the ship has extended this sort of docking arm to link with the cable. He flies up to that, grabs it, takes the limiters off his mech's engines and starts to pull it upwards, then catches the cable in his other hand. And at this point, basically, there's about 20,000 tons pulling on his machine under it, so he's going to come to bits in the middle. And then he looks to one side and he sees this hand on his in the cockpit, and it's this guy who died getting him where he is. And he looks to the other side and there's another hand, it's another guy who did the same. And he closes he closes his eyes, everything goes green. And in an epic reference to Shah's counterattack, which was Amuro Ray's crowning messianic moment of awesome, he gives off this cloud of green energy and telekinetically hauls both ships back into a stable orbit, with possibly the most beautiful music I've ever heard of any anime ever. Even better than this.
Oh, sorry, hang on.
And I mean, he's combining basically the most epic moments of Amuro Ray and with channeling the dead, Camille Ladan, who is one of the most famous new type Gundam pilots of all time. So he's basically equaled both of their most famous achievements in the space of about 30 seconds and done it with a soundtrack that could make John Williams cry.
When you started that story, I did think you were basically going to tell the Gundam, going, my mate's car broke down. We have to push it really hard.
No, he basically turned into a teletype.
That's convenient if you can do it.
Yeah.
Just remember there's Maccas behind you as well, Mick. That's what I'm saying right there.
Yes, but I know how to get away from you. I'll throw a book at you. The law!
Okay, next up we have the jumping of the shark. This is the exact opposite of the last question. What we want someone who is just trying too hard to be epic and doesn't come anywhere near pulling it off. When have you felt that something has been done just for the sake of doing so? And if we'll lead off with Brad on this one, please.
Excellent. Okay, I gotta jump away from anime for a second because the first thing that popped into my head is not anime, and I don't care. I'm miffed. You can tell I'm very excited about this because it's okay. Any Star Wars fans out there? Yeah. Have you heard of a show called Star Wars? Yeah. When they made Greedo shoot first.
Oh yeah.
Why? Thank you for letting me get that off my chest.
Is that going to just come out in Canada?
What's your point?
Just score points.
I was going to shake that fridge seriously.
Oh, I see. Pick on the Canadian.
And Hugh, we're going to have your shark jump, please.
Okay, I mean, contrary to what our chairman said yesterday about it being fashionable to Akira, I always thought this regardless of whether it was fashionable or not. And I say this as somebody who actually really thoroughly enjoyed Akira, but that last hour is just bloody horrible. It's a mess, and especially if you've read the manga. Because I understand, you got 2 hours and the manga goes on forever and isn't finished at the time. You can still think of a better bloody third act than that!
Can't argue with that. Akira saves you, it grinds my gears something chronic. Starts off well and then just disappears on its own rear end.
I mean, here's the thing, right? When most anime shows, don't do it well, it's because they're running out of money, or they've been such a long-running show they've run out of ideas. But Akira had the time, the money, and my God, they were putting in the bloody effort. So they still couldn't come up with it?
Absolutely. Stand the Oscar Claymore drama, seriously. Mick, can I have your shark jump, please?
Well, I may start Flame War 2 with this, but I think it's got to be the end of the Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann movie. the second one particularly, because the series ended great. They've got this, 10 million light year high robot. They're using a galactic disc as a boxing ring, and they kick the arse of what are basically the antithesis of hope embodied. And in the movies, not only do they get this 10 million light year high robot, everyone else does too. In fact, they kept the entire cast alive when they died in the series, just to give them more mechs and more screen time. And then everyone combines into a 3 billion light year high camera made of blue fire. What the screaming arse is that about? They did that purely to top what had happened in the series, and I think that was absolutely unnecessary. The series ended on what might be the highest note of any series ever, except Macross Frontier. So, as far as I'm concerned, they didn't need to do that, and they were just showing off. Frankly. Shouldn't have done it.
Okay, and finally, Moley on this one.
I'm a touch annoyed because Hugh got my answer, and then you got my backup answer. Fuck. See, I don't have to apologise for the microphone. So, for me, it would probably be Air Gear. Air Gear is an inline skating it's kind of like Jet Set Radio, the manga, but not quite. And they introduce this idea that everyone has a road, and it's like everyone has a way they live their life and the way they progress through their life, and like everyone has their different way. So like one of the characters they keep saying he's slacking off, he's not practicing, and then they go back to the building site where they used to play as kids, and all the walls are absolutely bollocks from where he's been practicing grinding constantly and all this stuff. And oh shit, actually no, that's his way of doing things. He goes off on his own and does things. And then they get to, you basically find out about there's a thing called the Trapheon Tower and the Grand Scale that happens every 7 years. And you're like, okay, cool, they're going to build up to a big tournament. Because if I'm honest, Fight of the Week is kind of my guilty pleasure. I love Fight of the Week manga. And then they literally just go, when one was I'm actually an orphan containing all the souls of all the orphans that have died from playing Air Gear, and I'm connected to the internet! And what about you? Well, the way I figure out how to fix things is by having sex with you, with music! And it's literally like, so these guys were friends and are trying, and you're fucked up on drugs. Now I'm done.
The first minute and a half of that, you could have been talking about Naruto.
I will actually leap to Naruto's defense on one singular point. In the fact that when they did the time skip, the very first time skip, it was like, here's the standard argument with anime, why don't we just do the most powerful move? Guy Sensei, bunch of bad guys appear, Guy Sensei appears and goes, 7th gate open, most powerful move! And they just evaporate. And everyone's like, oh fuck, that was very interesting. we needed to interrogate him, he's like, oh yeah. And it's literally like 3 panels, and he just obliterates these 4, like, oh my god, they're S-rank rapists. Yeah, we needed to actually talk to them. Oh yeah, shit. Sorry, my bad guys.
Right, cracking on in our next question, we have got the second chance. Everyone's got their own series that they would like to see a hell of a lot more of, something ended way before its time. What we're looking for is basically anime's very own Firefly. Which series or over here would you like to see get a bit of a long run and why? And we'll lead off with Mick on this one, please.
Well, for me, I just finished reading the manga of Oran High School Host Club like a week before I came, and it goes about half again as far. Shut the Later. I don't know what you're laughing at. The manga goes about half again as far as the series does. It's got about 50% more length on it. And apparently, I've heard a rumour, I don't know if it's true, I've heard a rumour that there is actually a sequel series to Oran in the works. So, I don't know if that's been disproven or anything, but keep an eye out for that because I'd really like to know. I want to see more of that. Especially given that she, in the end of the manga, she actually moves to Boston.
I've read it all, I'm just thinking of friends that haven't.
Right.
I haven't read it yet.
Yeah, I was gauging how many people would be spoiled by this, and I thought, fuck it.
Yeah, it's fighting talk. The whole thing's a spoiler.
Yeah. If why are you here if you care about spoilers?
Ping for the pity of our high school host club. Right then. And we go with Hugh for the next one, please.
Okay, as everyone knows, when I worked at ADV, we did a lot of shows that's it. You get your first season, if you're lucky, your second. In fact, most of the long-running stuff we never brought out here. So a lot of what I've seen, I'm quite happy with. It's done. It ends. They made, I don't want to see like a sequel to As a Man Could Die. It's perfect. Okay, even a movie said at the college, when they're at college, no, do you want to see these girls at college? Seriously, if you do, go look yourself in the mirror and think really hard about why. Personally, stuff that I also love, like Metro DSA, it's just fun. Other series would be more the same. I don't really care. I get it, I don't. But there are two series where there's so much manga that didn't get adapted, they'd be worth doing. One's a series, one's a feature. Spriggan, okay, and Hugo the Negotiator. Hugo the Negotiator was going for 10 years before those two anime got made and we got those out. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but, if you like airport thrillers, Jack Reacher, 24, that sort of stuff, that's what Hugo is in manga form. This is the guy who outran a wild guy with a missile in Afghanistan. It's awesome. So I could do with a lot more of Hugo.
Yeah, we'll go with that. Moley, next up, please.
For me, it's a manga Hikaru no Go.
It's very classic.
About Go. And basically, once again, fuck it, spoilers. I can't remember if she was writing and drawing it, or if she was just drawing it. But basically, the woman who was producing it had another breakdown and went, right, I'm gonna put a bit of a break in, and then when I've recovered, I'm gonna carry on. So she came back and did 8 issues and ended the series. Literally, there was like this big world championship tournament coming up. The usual fight of the week. I like my fight of the week. There's all these characters introduced, all these weird guys. There's this new guy who uses this special technique and all this bollocks. And literally, he goes, "Yeah, I feel really good about how the championships is going." And they walk. The doors open, the light streams in, and they walk into the light. That's it. That's it. The only cock tease which is worse ever is there is a book by Games Workshop called Titanicus, which has a battle between 100 giant robots and 100 evil giant robots. And before the battle begins, he goes, "Helm, stride speed!" They return from the battle weary and nearly
I think you marked his attention.
I was actually so furious I had to go and masturbate.
It's got stuff in there. They can't afford the battle, even on paper.
You were gonna go and masturbate anyway.
Yes, but over robots being destroyed.
Okay, who has it? Brad, have you answered this one? What do you have you?
No, I'm totally changing my answer too. I'm gonna agree with Hikaru no Go because I was lucky enough to get to work on the anime dub, and for the episodes that got released, at the end they'd have a little tutorial on tutorial. Is that a real word? Tutorial on how to play the game, and I played Sai, who's kind of the Go mentor. And I still suck at that game, so I need more, so I get more of the tutorial, so maybe I can actually get good.
Okay, next up we have got the question called "You're a Man Now, My Son." What we want is the most memorable moments that you can recall of a character visibly growing up on the screen or on the page in front of you. And this is a quickie, so you want to keep your answers within 10 seconds or so if we can, please. And it looks like Brad has something right off the bat. Go for it.
Yeah, Dragon Ball Z, Gohan. Starts as a bratty little kid. This is when I got to work on it. And then goes to Saiyaman, which is weird. And then puts on a dress and some earrings, sits on a hilltop for like 35 episodes, and comes out the other side ready to kick some ass. Fight you! I'll destroy you.
Okay, Moley next, please.
Once again, ISU 21. Senna has to get through an impassable line. He runs up and he's like, "Oh, fuck it. If they catch me, I'm dead, so oh well." Devilback goes over it, lands, all his uniforms ripped because he goes so fast, and lands, and there's literally a toothpaste spread of him just going, "Wah!" knees. Fucking God! You literally can hear as his balls drop.
And his voice not so long afterwards.
Hey, Rambusan, get on my dick.
Okay, Mick, next please.
Well, for me, it's got to be the end of Rebuild of Eva 2, when Shinji, instead of in the original series, he's getting his arse kicked. His Eva wakes up and eats the angel on its own. This time, it's him. He's just so furious, his eyes light up, and he eats this thing. I mean, he catches a beam from it, turns it into a new arm, turns that arm inside out, shoots his whoop. Excellent! Nails this angel right in the face, smacks it in the core, pulls Rey out of it into the cockpit somehow, having dismantled the cockpit with his bare hands, crawled to the front and into the angel's soul to get her out. Then the angel explodes, turns into a giant Rey, merges with his Eva, becomes God, and ends the world. Solely to get the girl. Now that's fucking badass!
I bet you still wouldn't do anal.
What about clothes, mate?
Actually, yeah, you could be really...
Yeah, now you only just realised. Multiple rays.
Oh!
Maybe I'm going to fist you so hard it'll sound like you're punching a jar of mayonnaise.
If you weren't going to help before Moley, you should have come on now.
Game with 3.0, Gate City.
Who's next on this one? We've had Brad, we've had Mick, oh, Hugh.
Yeah, you said keep it short. So, I'm going to go with my, what I think a lot of us in this room can actually relate to, and that's Genshiken. And that's Sasahara as basically the lead audience identification figure in the manga and anime, finally getting to the point where you can actually ask Oggy out, and better still, because Oggy has her own issues, when Oggy realises that actually, yeah, she's going to say yeah, and that we are going to try and be a couple. For both of them, watching them grow up, that was literally, I've seen people, in the comments, I've seen it happen to people. It's happened to me too. I think it's a thing that actually we forget could be really, really great, because we're always looking at like idealised versions of it from manga, anime, and other fiction. But actually, the reality is really bloody tough, and they made it tough. It was tough to look at, and you could just see it happening.
I'm sorry, I'm going to be a dick.
Oh, what?
This is how bad it is. I've just got visions of you sat at the top of Ben and Jerry's looking a bodybuilder going,
It's not far off.
Okay, we're just going to go to finish the score before we crack on with the second half. Here we go. Next, string behind with 32 points, followed by Bad with 5. He was second with 38, and the lead is Moley with 43. Okay, and next up on the list we have got. We've actually made something not for team jobs. This has come from the nostalgia cricket. We are going for your big lipped alligator moments. We're looking for something that is just so beyond random. That's happening in anime, in the manga, and anything, but after that, it's never mentioned again.
Have you ever seen All Dogs Go to Heaven?
No.
Have you seen Fern Gully?
Probably at some point.
Okay, he's wandering along, lizard appears out of nowhere, tries to eat him, creates the ball fetish, and then just goes, "See ya, bitch, I am," and just vanishes. It's just like, "Ah!" and they vanish.
And it's never spoken of again, ever.
Musical number out of nowhere, and then...
That's pretty much it, yeah. So here, we go with yours first, please.
So I know with most comedies it's kind of standard to have what moments where stuff happens and they never talk about it, but I'm going to go for the show that was built on those, and that's Cromartie High School. Because when it comes down to it, and Cromartie doesn't need to make sense. I don't need it to make sense, but they were really good at doing something, and several episodes later going picking it up again. This big moment is actually about the stuff where they don't mention it again. So and I think that this is Freddie. Okay, Freddie's there. Freddie Mercury's at school. They never mention why he's at school or what he's there for. It's never a plot point. It's never needed for anything. But on top of that, he rides a horse.
I believe Freddie Mercury was in a Japanese all-boys high school for, I believe the dictionary definition is the bummings. The man used to drink in the bars called the Ramrod and the Man Shaft.
That said, they don't actually bring that up in any context. You know what I mean? If that was the joke, they don't play with that joke. He just rides a horse and that's it. Never mentioned again. It just happens. So that's my idea.
Okay, next up, Mick, please.
I think mine's got to be in Porco Rosso, which again is kind of built on one because it's never explained why the guy's a pig.
Hey!
There's some magical thing going on apparently, and about halfway through the movie, he's sitting by a campfire, and this lassie's looks over to him, and he's a normal guy again, for absolutely no reason. For about 5 minutes, he's just this bloke with a tash, and she's like, "Am I high?" She looks back and he's a pig again. It's kind of implied, if I remember right, that it's when he's thinking unselfish thoughts, he turns back into a dude. But it's never explored, it's never explained. And that, I'd love if there was some explanation for this floating around out there, but I've never found one. I don't know why he's a pig, and I don't know why he stops being a pig.
Sorry, he sat on his little deck chair in his little island. It's like, oh my god, you look normal. Well, that means the roofies are kicking.
And on that bombshell, we've got to go with Moley on the back of that, seriously.
Mine is a pseudo big-lipped alligator moment. The Gantz manga had a vampire storyline that appeared. And literally, after about, I think it was about 16 issues, the author, the guy who writes it was just like, yeah, that was a fucking stupid idea. It was a ball dream. Look, swords! And then let's completely ignore that one. Sorry, I read some Twilight. I was having sex with a goth girl. It all got out of hand. I'm really sorry.
You're bringing it back.
Is that me?
Sorry, let's get you over to run. Yeah, go on.
I totally got caught. I got lost in this question, thinking of something that happened in entertainment that would never be mentioned again. I actually have a pact with all my friends that this moment is never to be mentioned again, so I'm going to politely pass on this question. Thank you. We made a pact. It never happened. It's one of those moments that just never happened.
He's got a little incident. Did you go to Disneyland? Because most conventions I spend at least 45 minutes a convention at Disneyland. Only for like 30, 45 seconds at a time. I'm in Disneyland. Disneyland.
That's what they told you it was called.
Hey, I rode space. Oh, no way.
Okay, we crack on with Out of the Loop. What we want here is your favourite moment of geekdom outside of anime and manga. And we'll lead off with Moley on this one, please. We have absolutely anything other than why we're actually here, and I don't mean beer.
I think my favourite moment in recent years is, I think, what's his name? Cody? The fat kid, the little Weasley kid who'd been making fun of him, punching him and all that lot. And he picks him up and just
the wrestling
into the ground.
Yeah.
The video. Yeah. That moment. That was just like, when it is literally, and the best part is that the entire internet, the like mums and feminists side of the internet went, "This is what's wrong with your culture," and the entire geek community just went. I'd have fucking stamped on his head.
Okay, next we'll have Hugh on this one, please.
I don't like to rub it in that I'm in the industry, and that occasionally means I get to meet people, because, let's be honest, there are loads of conventions out there, you can meet people. But it's when it's random that I love it, because that's when I get to enjoy my job a little bit more and be just the geek and not the guy having to say, I'm the marketing network. And last year we did an old 60s show that none of you guys will have heard of, and a lot of people who came to it are actual people who are active or been in the business because they were old enough to remember it or even started it. So I got to meet a whole bunch of people who are like Doctor Who companions and things like that. But the moment that freaked me out is we're in the green room afterwards, and half of these people who know my boss have got into the green room. So I'm having these conversations with people I don't really know who they are. And this one guy saying, "Oh yeah, I spent so much money on all your DVDs and stuff, and I really like it. I can't believe you're going to do Persuasion on Blu-ray later this year." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's very nice, very nice." And he said, and this is my partner, and I'm like, oh, hello. And this is my friend Caroline. I'm like, oh, hello, Caroline. And Caroline's like, no, I'm really glad you brought Penny Stay back, because I was a really big fan of the guy. And I'm thinking, where do I know this woman from? And I'm looking at her, and she looks kind of like, you know, if you had like an aunt who's like a bit gypsy, you know, she's kind of dressed like a fortune teller, and she's, you know, you can see, God, she must have been hot in the day, but you know, she's just kind of nice and auntie now, and you accept that. And I'm looking, I'm talking, I'm thinking, I know these eyes, I really know this hair. Who is this woman? And suddenly I go, oh Christ, it's Caroline Munro, who was a Bond girl in Spy Who Loved Me. She's the one in the helicopter first for Roger Moore. And she did a ton of B-movies, she was a Hammer horror babe. And yes, I had a pin-up of her in my locker. And it's kind of like, oh yes, you're Caroline Munro. And she's looking at me and I go, hi, yeah, no, I have seen your films, so I'm a big fan. And she's like, oh yes, that's nice. And I'm thinking, oh God, keep it quiet, don't say a word. And then I realised, actually, yeah, you know, she's got to this point in her life where she's like, why do all these young men come up to me and go, oh, I love your films when I was young? Because she's going to cons and stuff, and all these men are like, please sign this. And she's like, yeah, you know, I was young, I had fun, I took my clothes off, it's no big deal. You know, I'm like, yeah, I know. You know? So that was kind of like a freaky geek moment. But let's be honest, when it comes down to it, geekdom, I mean, real geekdom is the stuff you don't have to think about. I had to think about them. The real geekdom is the stuff where you just go, oh, holy crap, that's amazing. So Monday morning, everyone in my office is going on about the Olympics. And I'm getting my coffee, and I'm just taking my Twitter feed before I start work. And I knew overnight NASA were going to try and attempt the impossible. I knew we were going to try and land the rover on Mars. And I knew that there were like a minimum of 17 different points where it could go completely fucking wrong. And then when one of those went wrong, that's it, we're done. You know, we're stuck until we get something else back up there. You know? Yeah, exactly. And I see on Google Plus, there's the video shot of the NASA room when they landed, when they all freaked out and they all cheering and everything. And I had this coffee and I played it and I was like, you know, totally automatic. I just didn't even think. I just like, fuck everybody. This is my Olympics. This is my FA Cup. This is all of it in one. We're on Mars, baby.
Okay, well, let's talk a little bit. We're going to go with Brad next, please.
I've had a lot of geek moments. I have one in particular that I'm kind of thinking of right now, because it happened in a setup like this. It was during a panel. I was at a convention in Montreal in Canada, and it was a smaller convention, and it was a big crossover show, so there was a lot of different people there. You know, like the Who Ferrigno, the Incredible Hulk was there and stuff like that. I was scheduled for a panel, like a Q&A type thing, but it was a smaller show, so they brought just a few of the guests and kind of put us all, you know, from different genres, all in the same panel. And one of the gentlemen that I was sharing the stage with is a fellow named Jeremy Bullock, who played Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Woo! And so I'm sitting next to Boba Fett. And, you know, I'm shaking and all that kind of stuff. And we're just doing a regular Q&A, and all I'm thinking is, it's Boba Fett right there, man. It's right there. It's right there. Like, full on geeking out. And then he decides to do like a little exercise where he brings people from the audience up towards the front, and we're basically going to reenact his scenes. So there was a legion of stormtroopers there as well, right? So he borrowed a couple of blasters, and he'd basically have somebody, you know, come up to the front of the stage. Another person would point a gun at them, and they would deliver one of Jeremy's lines. But to make sure that everybody was kind of on the same page, he would deliver it first. So I'm standing up there, and I'm the one holding the blaster at this point as the volunteer comes up, and he goes, so now, he's pointing a gun at you, and you say, he's still good till he's dead. And I peed myself. I started jumping up and down, and I didn't realize I was doing it. So if anybody, and I'm sure there were some cameras out there, I would love and hate to see that replayed, because you'd probably see my face light up and a wet spot in the crotch reel area.
If you like, I can teach you some Northern. You, in the words of the Northeast, flush your kecks.
I flushed them, but good.
Nick, we had yours, this one we have the other, yeah, haven't we?
Well, I've actually got two candidates for this, and I can't decide between them. So I'm going to tell you what. I'm going to this D&D sort of meetup, and I didn't realise that while I was on the metro, the guy next to me, who is about as camp gay as it's possible to get and not be Graham Norton.
Barrowman!
He's sitting next to me, and this enormously fat, vile-looking guy gets on the train, and I hear the campest voice ever muttering, I can't do the voice, muttering next to me, someone took weapon focus in ugly stick. And the other one, frankly, is just because I grew up partly on Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Hey.
And I'm watching like random clips of Jean-Luc Picard. I can't even remember why. And it cuts to this 5-second clip of a movie called Safe House, where he apparently plays this complete tinfoil hatter who's working as a groundskeeper for somebody. And he's got like gophers or some burrowing vermin in his flower bed. So Captain Picard, in this t-shirt and sweatpants, holding the pistol, runs out into this garden and goes, "You motherfuckers are gonna kill all my lilies!" I was giggling at that for 5 days. I couldn't stop.
Okay, I have an important question.
Yeah.
Okay. Picard,
Yeah.
Councillor Troy, fuck one, kill one.
Having actually met and hugged Ian and Troy, I know which way I'm going.
The same way we're all going. Patrick Stewart and you choke her to death together.
Being fair.
I think I just watched Brad have a t-shirt.
It was just a small aneurysm.
Well, Moley, if you want to choke the captain, that's all yours.
He can choke me.
Because what we call it these days, like, oh.
Chicken whip, what?
I'm a Shakespearean actor. Yes, now choke me.
Okay, we've run a bit out of time here, guys. We're going to drop some of the questions. The next one we're going to go with is a leaf from their book. And this is our golden envelope round. If any of the guys actually nail the character that we're looking for in this, 10 bonus points, and as Dave has damn it, a guaranteed place in the final. So, if we go with what we're looking for here is the most inspirational character in the history of anime to each of you. And we'll lead off with Mick on this one, please.
Well, I think for me it's got to be Patrick Colasar, the lead ace of the Advanced European Union in Gundam 00. This guy is nicknamed Team Patrick because every time you see him, he gets owned. I mean, hardcore. He's the first mech you see in the series, is him test flying this thing to show it off. And this Gundam airdrops out of nowhere and takes him to pieces before he's finished ranting at it about how amazing he is. He gets as far as, "I'm really special," and he's on the floor with no hands and no head on his machine. And he still gets up and keeps coming back and thinking he's amazing. The second time I can remember seeing him is when he fights the Virtue Gun, the big artillery one. He's leading this flight of fighters in. There's about 15 of them. And it just unloads these enormous cannons straight at them. Everyone dies but him. His catchphrase by now is, "What the hell was that?" He's socially inept. He's awkward, he's dense, his commanding officer thinks he's a twat. And then he marries her. And what's really awesome, frankly, this sealed the deal for me. When you look closely at his wedding scene, Amuro Ray, Shah Aznavour and Frau Bo from the original Gundam series are guests at his wedding. And if you can get the White Devil, the Red Comet and the Bridge Bunny to come to your wedding, then you are the most awesome person in the history of ever.
Okay, next up we'll go with Moley, please.
The nerdy guy, March 21.
The what, sorry?
The nerdy, the lanky guy. He joins the Devil Bats because he's never done sport.
Hugh, the one trainer.
Yeah.
Very inspired.
For the Tower of Death.
Yes, absolutely,
Basically,
yes.
they go to Tokyo Tower, and Hiromu goes, "Right, in order to be on the team, get a cup of ice, get to the top of the tower, have some silicone. No, it's piss. So get a cup of ice." And they walk in, and the tower's on fire. So, Senna, Aisha 21, goes and runs up at the speed of light. Monta, I think he throws and catches it to himself. And everyone has their bullshit method they used to get up there. He gets up there and goes, "I'm really fucking unhealthy." Oh, fuck me. I know what I'll do. I'll go downstairs, I will get a bag of ice bigger than me. And then I will go, Mum, fuck it. Every single step, get to the top, and they'll go, sorry, we've not got any ice.
Did you see me find out you should come in here?
Well, yeah, and then goes all the way back down, gets another giant bag, and starts saying, they're like, why are you doing this? He's like, I want to be on the team! It's just like, that Foxy even makes Hirama, the devil man himself, go, alright, I feel sorry for you, I'll slip some ice into your last bag of water. It's all good, man, get on the team, because otherwise you're going to fucking die.
Although to be fair, in the midst, he does actually score their last first touchdown against the shitty UG Nagas. Beating both Aegon, their main antagonist, and Hugh, their cornerback, both of whom are absolute legends of their team.
However, he is enhanced by Hirama being a dickbag.
We've got to give you that, that's fair enough. Brad, next place.
What was the actual question?
Who was the most inspirational character that you can think of?
To me personally?
Yeah.
Okay. Pikachu! Hey, this is my personal answer, okay? Don't judge me. I got a point for that. Awesome. Thank you. That's more like it.
Hugh, finally, please.
Okay, yeah, you can tell I'm marketing. I've been thinking for ages about what the audience have put in that bloody envelope.
Same here, actually.
Yeah, but fuck it, I'm going to go with, as you say, what is personal to me. So I'm going to go with Captain Harlock, man, because Harlock is an old school hero. You know, he don't say shit. If he's got a problem, he's going to either, you know, fire his guns or pull his sword and take you out. And he's loyal, he's driven, he looks after his friends. He was going to save the whole of the human race, even if the human race doesn't want him to do it. I am all about that, man. That's cool.
And I think
One moment. Can I interject just before you open the golden envelope?
Okay.
Is this going to be anything like a pub quiz? When you'll go, actually, I think you'll find the most inspirational character is this guy you've seen in a single frame. Only released in French Brazilian on the move. What you say, my letters Y and I.
Fuck you. The actual answer to the golden envelope was, of course, Canada. The guy gets through life purely on the back of single, sheer-minded, one-eyed determination. It just happens to be in the Gurren Lagann universe, his idea of how things work is how things work. Purely on the back of fighting spirit.
Is there anyone here who didn't briefly consider him and then ditch him as too obvious?
No. I will be honest, I considered him, thought it would probably be right, but in order to say that, I basically would have had to have gone against running an anime society for 6 years. And having to put up with, go again!
Are you sure it wasn't Pikachu? I demand a recount.
I think more people watch Pikachu.
Okay, and finally, before we head into the final, we have any other business. This is free reign, guys. When you just vent about something that's really been grinding your gears recently. And we'll lead off with Brad, please.
So, alright, what was the question? I was checking the time.
Rant about anything.
This is the open question. Just rant about anything and everything that you damn well like. So it's really been getting you going recently.
You know what? I've had such a great weekend, it's kind of hard to find something to rant about. Oh, here we go. This is pretty easy. This ties in with the having a great weekend. It sucks that our party gets shut down at 1. Right? I'm not alone in this, am I? No. Alright. Well, maybe next time let's do something about that. Thank you, that'll be all.
Short, sweet to the point, I can go with that. Hugh, please.
Was I supposed to get like all irate and stuff?
Yeah.
I want a party later than 1 o'clock! It's an outrage! How dare they?
On our face by being outraged as Canadian. I can see you going, oh, my mum's going to see this, and golly gee, she's going to be mad.
Bradley John, I raised you better than that!
Okay, this should be good. Moley, please.
Right, there was a question which was removed, which was like Anime Room 101, what would you remove from, and so I'm going to use this as my round. The term I call patient zero. Okay. If you are ill, stay at over to me with a cough that sounded like me slamming a dictionary against the table. And do you know what they did? They came over and they were just like, all over me and my stock. And then they're like, oh really ill.
Oh shit!
Kill yourself. Like, seriously, get a razor blade, get some dental floss, swallow the razor blade and dental floss, and just go. I go to like 16 to 20 conventions a year, and every fucking time, one of you retards makes me ill. I have vomited on a girlfriend because of you people.
I suppose that maybe I should have mentioned that right before we started here, that person was using your microphone.
Wouldn't surprise me. In fact, there's that goes on down in London, a rather large one I'm not going to name because I technically work for them. And I have been on one of the sections, and there have been people coming up to me that I honestly thought were about to die. And they've done this. They've gone.